This is the Gumad Angel Orsini, and you're watching BJ and DG Talk Wrestling on YouTube and Twitch. Forget about it.
Welcome back, everybody. BJ here, DG there.
What is going on? Now it's time for episode 72 of BJ and DG Talk Wrestling. We are 28 away from number 100, from that
That's
true
right.
century mark of the Sunday show.
Yeah, and we've only not done a show, I think maybe 3 times since we started. And that was because we were doing what,
Outside,
four?
outside of like a PLE thing or something
Well,
like that.
yeah. No. I'm just saying that's the only time we missed were the watch-alongs. Oh, no. There were a couple where we were actually at a show. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, we have a comment already.
oh my goodness.
Steven Chambers, how you
What is
doing?
up, Stephen Chambers? How you doing? Um, Interesting week. We saw a lot of movement, and a lot more movement, and a lot more movement.
A
Uh,
lot. We've gotten the debut of a couple call ups this week. We had also call ups between NXT evolved to NXT to the main roster. We
New signings
saw,
debuting on NXT,
yeah, we saw a Raw star go over to SmackDown.
and we saw a
So,
couple more people be relieved of their duties.
which we might as well start there. Well, we'll start with JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb,
Not a
also
big
Jeff Cobb,
surprise. They didn't really do much with him.
and then
He was
Tongaloa.
just and Tongalo. They were both just kind of like hired muscle.
It's a shame though, because I saw a meme where it was like, over the last couple of years, guys who have debuted at Backlash have ended up being released before the next one.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
but it but the bigger surprise before we get into fully talking about that was the New Day. Their contracts, they were going to end up being making less money in the renegotiation of their contracts, and they asked for the release, which to me, they weren't used properly in the last year. I would say
As
after
heels.
the heel turn, like there was no third person. Even them with Big E as heels still had energy. You could still get
Yeah.
behind them to boo them or whatever. And that was a really big loss. Which I still feel like to this day they didn't do the heel turn properly. I felt like Big E should have joined them in the heel turn and gone back to managing and manage them without being an active person to bring the group back together for one last good run. Because let's look at currently they are the most tag team title reigns in WWE history, with the Usos second behind them. So which makes the Usos the most decorated current WWE tag team.
Although, uh, not all of New Day's tag team title reigns were the same combination of people.
Well, Freebird rule.
Right. Well, not exactly. That's not exactly how that works. But uh, no. What I'm saying is like if you look at Jimmy and Jay and their reigns, they have more than say Xavier and Kofi or Big E and Xavier,
Oh
Big
well,
E.
yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
The
mean?
Kofi had tag team run with Evan Bourne at one point.
I know it all falls under the umbrella of the New Day, but um, as an individual tag team. You know what I mean? Two people. The Usos do have the advantage
Mm.
in title.
I mean, yeah. When you look at the New Day, it wasn't just a 2-man team; it was a 3-man team. They got to use the Freebird rule to rotate in and out, but it's still recognized as still their reigns were still as part of the group. Oh, comment here in the chat. Any truth about WWE and 4 billion debt? Yeah, so they've been in debt, and it's not WWE in particular that is in debt. It is. I know, Khaleesi. Tell us about it. It's more of TKO's in debt since the merger. of everything else because it's WWE, it's UFC, it's Power Slap, I believe, as part of that umbrella, and I think there's one other, uh, the bull PBR, professional bull riding, I think is under that umbrella as well. So it's a lot of that, and
The, the releases, it's stuff that happens every year. The restructuring, this is new, but this is something that TKO is going to look to do to cut corners because they're TKO and all they care about is taking your money.
and you know, I won't say no names or anything, but I've spoken to like indie wrestlers and stuff like that to where just naturally the conversation of WWE with somebody I was speaking to came up this past week. And it's kind of the same reaction that we all have. Like, we watched WrestleMania and we watched more ads than actual in ring time, which again is
Right.
the one thing I will say. But yeah, if we go back from the beginning, WrestleMania has always had longer entrances. There's always been things that have been put over the top because it is WrestleMania. It's the biggest, just like the Super Bowl. Everything's turned up to 100. And in the case that where the one thing you remember more than anything is how many ads there were on that show, that's not a good look. That's not
No,
something that people want to talk about.
and also in the case of the Super Bowl, you know what else is blown up to 11? The actual game.
Well,
I didn't
unless it's a
get
bad
that with
game.
I didn't get that with the matches at this Mania. They were between entrances. The entrances were longer than some of the matches. Uh, you know, half an hour commercial breaks before the main event. That's disgraceful. Um,
No,
yeah, it was just a bad look
even what
all
else was
around.
disgraceful is at WrestleMania, every talent should have an entrance that is seen by the fans watching at home. And when we got to the ladder match was night two, right? Because it was
Right.
yeah,
A couple
Oba, it
people
was
are,
Oba
yeah,
Brock, and then the ladder match. We already
a
had
couple
three
people were
people.
already in the ring. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Rusev, JD, and somebody else. Hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
for
hey, hey! Do
real.
not talk bad about him. Let him rest in pieces. Which, by the way, I just watched SmackDown today, and boy, when they popped that graphic up of the gingerbread man, oh, that was great. I'm really
I did see
digging
that.
this Sami Zayn. I'm not a heel turn. Like I'm kind of behind because all his actions are heel actions. Even when he was talking to Cody this week, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Um, this whole thing with TKO is they want more celebrity involvement all the time. You don't need that. Your focus needs to be on the talent. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to throw money at talent just so they sign and can't say no. It's going to be like The Godfather. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
They bring
And
back
then
the Godfather?
eventually, wrong Godfather, sir. The only thing that Godfather would say is pimping ain't easy. I certainly hope so. I certainly
Oh
hope
my
so.
God, yeah, they have an opportunity to do that, and I hope they take it.
But it's they're looking at, and I get the idea to put more eyes on the product, but you don't need to put more eyes on the product right now because your product isn't what it was 2 years ago. To to where, and don't get me wrong, I thought Raw itself was good this week. I actually thought SmackDown itself was good this week. But when we get to these PLEs, these bigger shows, give us one or two more matches if you can. I think 5 to 6 matches is solid, but I'd like to see more stories come across, a bit more backstage stuff. Like we definitely talked about that a lot for WrestleMania. Where was all the
Yeah.
other stuff? Like you cut everything for in-ring action, fine, give us in-ring action. There's certain exceptions I hold to that, like Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer. They were both banged up. They weren't going to be able to go out there and do 12 to 15 minutes for a match.
Right,
You
right.
know, so that makes sense. But then you turn around and all the conversation comes, what was the most memorable part of WrestleMania? All four matches that were on ESPN. Those were the most memorable matches out of the entire show.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only exception to that I would put is Punk and Roman. And my only argument with that match was the use of the steel steps. And I said it on the live stream why I wasn't at a disqualification. And even commentary covers it as referee's discretion. We don't want the main event of WrestleMania weekend to end in a disqualification, which, you know what, I can get behind that, but then why do it? But with the cutting corners and what they're doing, you're taking away time from talent that actually deserves it. And
Yeah,
then
Mania. I'm sorry. Well, so Mania wasn't always about just the people on the card. You know what I mean? It was, the interviews backstage, the spectacle of like, unexpected, segments in ring. Like there was nothing like that.
the one in two in-ring segments we got that was like Cena was the Bianca Belair pregnancy reveal, which, all right,
Which fine, yeah.
she hadn't been around for a while. It was a cool moment. I give props to them for allowing her to have that moment, but could that have been done backstage? So that, so
Yeah,
that,
yeah, absolutely.
so that something else could have happened in the ring that would have maybe added to the show, like night two when you bring out Cena, you bring out the Miz, you bring out Danhausen, you create these just feel good moments just to pop the crowd, get them laughing, get the energy back to a norm to move on in the show.
I just want to say
Oh,
about that.
dude.
Yes. If you actually look at, there's a TV show with the stars of their lives. She was actually having issues having a baby. So, her doing that versus like doing it backstage actually means more because the whole WWE universe already knows her story.
Yeah.
So now you're putting an ending to that story of reality TV
Well,
so they can move on. They can add somebody else to the WWE reality and move on there.
Whoa, what
That's
was
just
that
my
sound
part
back
on
there?
that.
Was that a motorcycle going by your house? Or
No,
did
it
the
was a fire
DeLorean just
truck.
go back to the future?
It was a fire truck. My neighbor's trying to burn the place down.
Where things that fans got used to aren't happening anymore. And it's either you gotta put focus on the certain things. And when it comes to PLEs, I like that it's focused on matches and not more backstage segments. But there's something to say right before a match. Getting that reaction, like back in the day, somebody would talk to The Rock right before going out to the main event.
Like
Or
coming
try
out to
to catch
Gorilla.
up with Austin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was none of
stuff
that.
like that. And,
Where was
or
Jackie
seeing all the
Redford?
Hall or seeing all the Hall of Famers backstage partying with other Hall of Famers, and we see the
Right.
camaraderie of that, and just have a fun moment.
Or
Like
just
how
like
fun the
goofy locker room segments.
yeah, which how fun the Danhausen segment was for me in ring. How much more fun would that have been with him with the legends politicking that he wants a Hall of Fame ring? Like something that would fit what they're doing with the character and how he's
Right.
acting as compared to just being in the ring and having his moment with John Cena.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. Steven Chambers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
There was a
horrible.
yeah. Hope it's a real shame. I hope that you know it goes as good as it could for her. Not that anything like that's good, but sending good gingery vibes that way. But back to the point of this whole thing of the releases and everything. I don't blame the New Day for leaving. Um, I feel like it was the right call. I look forward to seeing them somewhere else. Like, to be honest, I would love to see them pop up, say, in AEW and have that match with the Young Bucks finally. It's a shame Big E wouldn't be with them to have the Bucks and Omega versus the New Day with Big E. But we know Big E's done wrestling now. So that's just a fever dream at this point. But yeah, plenty of other stuff.
Also,
Oh, go
it's
ahead.
worth mentioning that obviously Xavier Woods is probably going to go back to Austin Creed, his name before he joined WWE. Kofi, though, is allowed to keep the Kofi part of his name because that's part of his real name. Unfortunately, he will not be Kofi Kingston, so he'll be Kofi something else, or just Kofi.
So speaking of Kofi, here I have an interesting stat. Oh man, I thought I shared it. I guess
Oh yeah,
not.
Steven Chambers. See what? Like all of these releases, and somehow Otis and Tozawa still have a job.
It's insane, right? And I love him, but it's insane.
It's
Um,
because they're
so
friends
Hulk
with Maxine.
Hogan's total time in WWE was
I
something
saw
like
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
was like
2,200
5,200.
days, something like
And
that. Yeah,
Kofi Kingston had a longer career in WWE than Hulk Hogan.
just short of 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of because he's another one who is beloved by the fans, regardless
And
of what he did.
not to mention that all of Kofi's were consecutive, and Hulk Hogan's were spread out over 30, 40 years.
You know, and we're talking about it wasn't all that long ago that we had Kofi Mania. We had Kofi winning the WWE title, just to eventually months later lose it to Brock in a squash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did. He overcame so much to get past this stupid.
Yeah,
Like he dug himself a hole with that, and then climbed out of it, and eventually, worked his way up to champion, where he then got squashed and disrespected.
and it's crazy to think that. And I get all things come to an end eventually. You know, it's just you look at somebody like Kofi, you would have figured they were a lifer. Like, and part of me wouldn't be surprised if the New Day or even just Kofi were to call it quits at this point. Like, I had my career.
He's old,
He,
you know.
but not just that, he could do conventions and stuff and one off appearances on random indie
Oh
shows
yeah,
and be
yeah,
perfectly fine going forward. Same
yeah.
thing with Xavier Woods / Austin Creed.
But I don't think they're done.
No, neither do
Um,
I. I think they have a bit of a run left in them, but we'll
well,
see in 90 days.
now they have all those possibilities for dream matches. Whether
As I
it's
said, them and the Young
TNA
Bucks.
and TNA and AEW and Ring of Honor on the Indies and GCW and wherever.
Like, I would love to see them do a short indie run before doing anything else. But if they were just
Oh
in 90
yeah,
days
that'd be
to pop
great.
up in AEW, I hope the first match is with the Young Bucks. I really do.
Yeah,
Jeff
it's like
Cobb,
August, like the
I see
first
going
week of
back to New
August.
Japan.
Oh, well, apparently he's burned his bridges in New Japan by coming over to the WWE. Like he's not looked at favorably over there right now. And plus he's on the older side too. If I'm not mistaken, he's in his 40s.
I mean, you know, and here's the thing: if we look at the MFTs, the one person I'm surprised still has a job, Talatanga.
Yeah, for real. Like that
If
doesn't.
you're going, they just dismantled a faction that you literally just put over the Wyatts, who you also released. So what was the point of any of this if we were going to get through this feud and you're just releasing 75 to 80% of the talent that was fully involved in it?
So now it's just Tala, Tama, and Solo, right?
And Tama if he doesn't get released soon, he's going to be on a singles run. And that most likely starts with Solo.
Yeah,
It's
it's mind blowing. It's
and this is something we talked about after all this came to light was it's going to be a couple years before we really start seeing that TKO fingerprint on everything of what's going to happen, and now we're starting to see that. And how much people want to blame Triple H, you know what, in the end he's doing what he's told, and he's doing his job. He's putting the best product forward that he can with what he has.
and so Triple H has the final say in who gets cut and everything. But TKO says, okay, we have to clear this much money, you know, cut however many people, cut this much money from the roster. So he has to go through and be like, potential value versus what we're paying them. You know, it's
No,
I
no, no, no.
understand it's not the easiest job, and like to be to be given that instruction. Hey, we need to get rid of this much. We need to clear this much salary.
Yeah, especially with people that you've worked with so long that are great towns and that are towns that that deserve to be there. And granted, there's like NXT releases, developmental releases are a bit different. Because either they're not living up to the expectation, or what they're being told is, hey, look, we're letting you go, but we're going to keep an eye on you. Go out there and do the Drew McIntyre thing, do the Matt Cardona thing, go out
Right.
there and rebuild yourself, improve your game. We've done all we can here. You have the tools now. Now go out and reinvent yourself. And we see how that goes. It's not for every talent that it works. But you look at somebody like a Drew McIntyre or a Matt Cardona. They left and came back much better than what they were. Matt Cardona, I wish they would do more with him, because now he's just another wasted talent that I'm waiting to see go back to the Indies.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like there's too much incentive for people to go out there and reinvent themselves because, one out of every 10 who even does get re-signed just gets, the only one out of 10 doesn't get completely wasted and buried.
And like, I will never argue celebrity involvement in pro wrestling, because it does go into the mainstream, but when you overdo it, you're killing your product of guys. It's kind of the idea of the conversation of the part timers, right? Who come back and take the spot of somebody who's been there.
Yeah, like
Who's
John
or
Cena.
Well, not even that. The Rock, when Punk had his 434-day WWE title reign, just for them to drop the title to him. Goldberg beating Kevin Owens for the Universal title. Things like that happen, and you're just like, these guys earned that spot, and now you're just ripping it from them for what? For nothing.
Right.
And this is and a lot of that's pre TKO. But now we're looking at it, and now, like I said, it's you're taking talent away. And the biggest strike I can put into that is what they did to Kit Wilson with Jelly Roll. You let Jelly Roll take a finish, and then you let the country singer, who is not a 100% trained pro wrestler, kick out of it. You just not only buried that finish, but you buried that talent in the process. And now he's become a full blown comedic with this whole Danhausen and Miz thing, which I'm fine with, because it's giving him something to do. He is over with the crowd still, but how much more believable does it come now that this is what you have him doing? To the point that Danhausen has to find a tag team partner for Backlash to have a match with Kit Wilson and The Miz.
What's up there, Eddie?
I gotta say, this is what, 3 weeks in a row now that our quote unquote agent is showing up.
Yeah, well, I hope you're doing well, man.
But hopefully we get past all this stuff, and TKO eventually learns, whoever's there, keep your hand out the jar. Let WWE. This isn't. You can't run pro wrestling like you do UFC and mixed martial arts. They're two completely different beasts. That's all there is to it. You keep raising these ticket prices. You keep raising the prices of merch. You know what's going to happen. In the end, ticket sales are only a portion of the money made.
Yeah, gotta support, man. Gotta represent.
So like I said last week, I wonder what this conversation is 2 years from now, 5 years from now, as of where WWE is looking, because I can't wait to see all these hardcore fans that used to talk trash about the whole bingo hall thing and everything turn around. Now we see them running smaller arenas like AEW was doing, or like TNA does. And now we're talking about the downfall of WWE, and in the end, we're going to blame it on one thing: TKO.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's what it's looking like. And I mean, you turn to like, well, would you rather have Vince? No, because that's a different kind of insanity that like no one should have to deal with anymore. But at the same time, like, what's happening now, like, we've never seen things like this happen with WWE. This is just it's brand new. Just not just the creative direction and just yeah, we always get the releases, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's a sad thing to talk about given the history of W. Eddie, we started off talking about the most recent releases, and then we kind of shifted into this conversation of TK. And it's the sad thing is, we've seen what Triple H can do without interference when he was doing the Black and Gold NXT. We see, and we even see glimpses of it now. But when you have the outside people coming in who really don't understand pro wrestling, like, hey, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. When it comes down to it, it's Triple H doing what his bosses are telling him to do. And he's like, all right, this is what they want. So I have to figure out how to give them what they want. And at the same time, make sure what fans we have still are happy.
And then he
Because no
looks like the
matter
bad
what,
guy.
because no matter what, fans will complain.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
said like, what's it going to look like 2 years from now? And I just thought to myself, like, I can't see myself still watching in 2 years if things keep going the way they're going. And that really sucked to like to realize, you know? Like I was like seriously considering not watching after Mania, but you know, the channel goes on. I
no,
got to do what I got to do. But I mean, it's getting harder and harder now,
yeah,
especially knowing everything that's going on.
um, Eddie, yeah, no. We understand that perfectly. It's not like we don't expect there to be releases. It's when it comes down to more of the creative side that we're talking about right now. Do some releases surprise us? Yeah, like Kairi Zane, but I think that was because she wanted to move back home to Japan. So at that point, they were just looking at it as, well, we're going to lose you anyway, and you're not going to be able to be on the road as much. Hey, Kairi Zane could go back to wrestling in Japan. There's plenty of opportunities for her over there.
Yeah, and plus she just got married right before she got signed, like within a year before she got signed. So I'm sure she wants to just chill out and spend time with her husband.
Yeah. And Stephen Chambers, don't get me wrong, I do want WWE to see, but TKO sucking the life out of.
Yep.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. And eventually it's going to be hardcore wrestling fans that will continue to watch because they're watching for it's kind of like me now. Like I'm not watching for every single thing in WWE anymore. I'm watching because there's people I like that I want to see do good and I enjoy seeing their matches. But it's everything else around that is just sucking the life out of it.
Yeah, they fired almost everyone that I watched for.
Yeah, we brought that up as well, but I feel like it's an insult to them that they lowballed an offer to them.
Right.
To your most established and most tag team championship reigns in your company history, and you lowball them. It's kind of an insult. Well, SmackDown needs to go back to 2 hours.
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it
I mean, they don't have the roster to support 3 hours anymore.
Not with the way things are going. Also, other interesting news: NXT PLEs for the summer will be on CW.
Good news.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they're just not going the YouTube route with that. But
I'm surprised it's not. Yeah, they're available in the CW app for $40 a piece.
that'll be at the end of the summer. Actually, I've heard that after the CW thing, that they'll go to the ESPN app.
Makes sense.
with all the other PLEs. Yeah. But then that's another thing. Like of the money hungry TKO that we constantly talk about is we have to spend so much money to stay in tune with the product.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. But
Oh.
let's talk some Monday Night Raw.
Even though we already did on Monday night.
Yeah, but you know, doesn't hurt to go back over it. Couple of the things that we were happy with from Monday night. I love the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins back and forth. God, did I love that.
Oh, by the way, just wanted to mention this. Brock Rechsteiner was not drafted by an NFL team, but was signed by, I think it was the Tennessee Titans.
Yes, yeah, we talked about that on Monday.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right. The draft was last weekend, yeah. And he's going to be a beast. I'm sure he's going to not make the team and then end up in the WWE very soon.
Yeah. That Seth Rollins Braun Breaker segment was really good. And like I
Yeah.
said, I felt like that and the closing segment for the show later with Fatu and Roman really mirrored each other. A lot of talking family legacy and stuff like that, bringing up that past. Yeah, there was a rumor about that too, but it seems like more things are leaning toward ESPN, which this sounds like it would make more sense. WWE already has a deal with Tubi for Evolve, I believe. But the big thing I want to really talk about, which we'll revisit from our Monday stream, the Oba Femi Open Challenge. Like it opens up the door to so many matches across all the brands.
Yeah, this is a great way to get him over. You just have him run through everybody who steps up to him, but then where does it end? You know what I mean? Like,
You got it's kind of a build up, right?
I
Like you
get that.
start
Like, yeah,
get
the classic
you get
Goldberg formula.
well, Goldberg never did an open challenge. He was just thrown out there every week. Now we're
No,
going to
but
have something where Oba's coming out and it's like, who's. I get the Goldberg idea of who's next. That is wrong. He is the new Brock Lesnar.
yeah, but Brock Lesnar was the new Goldberg.
No, no, no. Because
He was
here's
just
the
younger.
difference. Oh, Oba and Brock can both wrestle. Goldberg couldn't wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the way they are presented.
Well, I feel like it's more the Brock Lesnar route than the Goldberg route. The
Yeah,
reason people get
It
the
was Goldberg
Goldberg,
first. Goldberg did it first.
yeah, but then that got ripped up, burnt, thrown in a fireplace, and all that good stuff, and then Brock Lesnar just was like, nope, it's my playbook now. Deal with it. I don't need a 184 match win streak to prove I'm the best. Just saying. Of course you do, Eddie. Of course you do.
But yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
this is going to open up a lot of doors.
who are some of the names you would like to see answered this open challenge? And I would say let's even throw TNA into that mix.
Right, right.
Just for like that special surprise every once in a while.
Moose.
Didn't they have a match in NXT at one point?
Yeah, but now Oba has come this far, and you know what I mean. It's a year later or so, like. um, I
Hold
still
that
feel like
thought.
that'll
Hold
be a
that
good
thought.
matchup. Hey,
Hi
Tara.
Tara, how you doing? Hope work's going good for you.
Thank
Working
you
at
for
Wally World.
Thank you for saving us those seats Friday night. That was awesome. Very good location. And you were very chill the whole night until the back seats came out.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
But
that was a great show. We'll be talking about that Tuesday.
yeah, before we go off the air, we will be having a guest on Tuesday. We will announce that before we go off the air. A lot of exciting things coming up for this channel. Stay tuned, especially for Tuesday. There's going to be a couple fun things.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, names to face Obafemi at this point because it seems
Right,
like
right, right.
they moved Gunther away from him at the moment, which makes sense. We don't want that match happening right away. Which I feel
I'm
like you're
glad
doing exactly what we did Monday night.
I'm glad I keep the
Uh,
roster bookmarked.
I Solo. I think they could put on
Uh,
a good match, especially with Tala at ringside,
Not
which
yet,
would
but
lead,
yeah.
but what could lead to him, like him and Tala, which could lead to him and Solo the following week.
Uh,
I'm gonna pick somebody from NXT being Jasper Troy, just to come up and accept the challenge, and gauge the reaction of him to the main roster crowd.
I'd like to see Shinsuke take on Oba.
Oh, I hate to. I don't want to see Shinsuke get destroyed. I like Shinsuke.
Well, no, I feel like he would put up a fight.
I want to see Ludwig Kaiser challenge him.
We haven't seen him in like a year. Is he even still? I don't even see him on the roster still. No.
After he loses his mask.
No, that was Giovanni Vinci who wore the mask, wasn't it? When he was oh, what was his name? I don't
No, God,
know.
no. And why are German grandmothers challenging him from AAA? That's what I want to know. Because you spelled his name wrong. It's Omos. Omos, Omos. So
But
we have
Omos, I
German
think
grand. We have German
Oba and
grandmothers
Omos
from
would
Mexico.
be an
We're
amazing
going to
tag
have
team.
German grandmothers from Mexico showing up to challenge Obafemi. This should go.
I
This
think
should be very interesting.
Omos and Oba, the Nigerian Nightmares, would be an amazing team.
Eh, I would. Wow, that would be an interesting team, but it's not an interesting one-on-one match for me outside of size. Like Omos cannot move in the ring like a Brock Lesnar or a Oba Femi. Like I don't think he
Everyone,
can hang with Oba.
everyone I like am about to say, I'm like, oh no, because that'll kill their momentum right now. Like, for example, where did I see it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Javon Evans. Like, I would love to see the match, but that would kill Javon Evans' momentum right now. Joe
Unless it's
Hendry,
some.
you
I
know.
mean, unless it's something like somebody like Javon Evans. Unless it's something where somebody steps in and interferes in the match, like an Ethan Page, and cost him the win that doesn't kill his momentum any.
True, yeah.
Because that's
Royce Keys
outside.
though.
Hmm.
Royce Keys is like the number one that I want to
Yeah.
see.
I would love to see Jacob Fatu step up at some point into that conversation, but I feel like that's a
It's too soon
PLE
for
match.
that. Yeah.
I would love to see Oba come out on a PLE. Like, I wasn't scheduled to be here, but you know what? Who's going to stop me from coming out and issuing an open challenge?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely got a lot of potential, and with no belt on the line, it can just keep going forever.
I would love to see it get to a point where, let's just say, the Intercontinental Champ, let's say Rusev wins that title at some point. And he comes out to accept the open challenge, and Oba's like, "You want to challenge me? That's fine. Put the title on the line."
Oh yeah, I mean that would
Hey,
even work, you know, with a few different potential intercontinental champions. It wouldn't have to be Russo.
yeah, but I'm thinking of the big guy where we could actually get a match out of it, and not Oba just sitting there, having to do that 2 second sell to get up and just destroy the person afterwards. Because
Think
somebody
him and
like
Penta,
Javon Evans, I like the idea because it would catch him off guard with the speed
right?
and
And
the
him and Penta would
agility.
be great because Penta's got size, speed, strength. Penta's, the full package. I mean, he doesn't have as much size and speed and strength as Oba, but he's got a little bit of experience on him. I think that would be a great match, but I wouldn't want to see Penta lose it like that.
Well, yeah, obviously, Eddie, but we got to get there first.
Yeah, yeah, you got to build him to that point.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like our conversation on the after show, and then even after WrestleMania, was that we don't expect Obafemi to win the title now, but we can't take his name out of the conversation now with him defeating Brock Lesnar like he did.
Wouldn't it be
I
funny if like he
Dragunov.
comes? Yeah, yeah, that would be great.
That would
Wouldn't it be funny?
that's a PLE match. I feel like that's not a Raw or SmackDown match. That's a PLE match.
So at some point, Oba comes out, says a little something on the mic, open challenge. Nobody comes out. What is everybody afraid to face me? And like, still nobody comes out, and he just goes back to the locker room, like disappointed because nobody would face him. And then like something backstage would happen.
Dirty Dom comes out and challenges him.
Well, Dirty Dom still got JD, so
Yeah,
and
so
the ladies.
I'm surprised JD didn't get released. In all
Yeah,
honesty,
well, he's Finn's boy.
um,
And he's probably real cheap. Like he's not an expensive guy to keep.
you know what? When we're talking about the main event guys, like building up to that spot, two guys I want to see eventually in that picture, if it gets there for the open challenge, is Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I think Seth Rollins can put on a great match with just about anybody, and he can work the big guys really well.
I have no interest in seeing Punk versus Oba. My only interest in seeing Roman versus Oba is if
It's
it's
for the
for Oba to
title.
take his championship. Otherwise, the top, like, yeah, yeah. Breaker definitely. Returning Bronson Reed would be nice when he's ready.
That I feel like that's a feud. I feel
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I feel like that's like a 2-3 month feud to
Bronson Reed
where
could be like a stepping stone, like when he's
to get
healthy.
to that made to establish him like now I'm a big guy. Now you're looking at bringing in the other big guys.
Eddie.
I mean, it would, but I don't want to see Oba get cursed. Oh, Oba, Femi, and Danhausen versus Kit Wilson and The Miz at Backlash. There's Danhausen's mystery partner. And Danhausen just comes out. I don't have a partner. I'm doing this on my own. And Oba just comes out on his own for it. Like I need something to do. I'm here for you, Danny boy. I don't care what anybody says. I love Danhausen.
Uh,
I love it. They're doing everything they're doing fits his character perfectly.
uh,
Especially after this week and the whole setup, because Danhausen took a beating this week. It's the first time we've really seen that. But I did really like on SmackDown the whole Looney Tunes thing they did. They tried setting him up with a suitcase and a sign that said human money's in the suitcase. And the suitcase was rigged to like blow out some type of powder on the Danhausen. He opens up the suitcase and it didn't go off. He takes like 40 grand of Miz's money out of it. And then Miz and Kit Wilson come out of hiding, open up the briefcase, and it just, the dust or whatever, the powder just explodes right onto them. It was such a Wile E. Coyote moment. Absolutely. I was crying laughing. Like, I get that a lot of people don't like a lot of the comedy stuff when it comes to it, but it's those moments to pull you back down to get you ready for something else to happen. And that led to a whole nother segment on SmackDown where the Miz acted like he's like, look, Danhausen, he's figured it out. And then just for him to turn and do the typical Miz thing. But, you know, another name for the Obafemi Open Challenge, Damian Priest.
Yeah, if he weren't tag team champion right
I,
now.
I mean, I feel like even as one half of the tag team champions, a singles match isn't going to hurt anything. It's
Yeah,
not going to.
true. Especially if
It's
he just
not.
comes over to Raw for a week.
Yeah. And you could even do that whoever their contenders are at that time or something. Or
And have
Damian
a
Priest just comes by himself and he's just like, sees Oba in the back, like, hey, I accept your open challenge for this week because I actually want to face you and see how good you really are.
No, I'm thinking him and Truth show up. Damien accepts it, Truth manages, but there definitely has to be something backstage between the members of Judgment Day and the former members of Judgment Day.
Is it bad that I want a 6-person tag like Dom, JD, and Liv versus Rhea, Priest, and Truth, who was never
Don't
an
forget,
actual official member of the New Day, just to make.
right, but don't forget, we got Carlito,
Oh,
who
oh yeah, yeah.
for
That
some
that's it. That
reason,
was another guy who returned at Backlash and then got released a year later.
yeah. But he wasn't there to like wrestle, you know? Yeah,
I
I'd
feel like,
mentioned him.
yeah, Royce. It's too soon for Royce Keys given what they're doing with him right now, but it's a match I would love to see.
When you look at him out of the WWE context and see what he's done in AEW, if they would use that, that would, you wouldn't need to really build him up too much, but like at the same time, they want to, he's theirs now.
It just sucks that we're in an age where in WWE there's not a lot of established big guys like that no more. Like during the
Yeah,
Attitude Era
they
and to get
fire
the
him
F
all.
and the Ruthless Aggression Era, we still had Undertaker, we had King, we had the Big Show. We had a lot of these big guys that when a Brock Lesnar came into play, it was like we knew what we were getting. We had Matt Morgan for a short time in WWE in the 2000s.
Yeah, I mean,
You
you
know,
look at like Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan, and there's plenty of big
oh,
guys who they were just like, yeah, we love big guys, but you cost too much, get out of here.
Yeah, and those would have been like Eric Rowan would be a great name to throw up against Obafemi. He could
Oh
work
yeah,
with him really
Braun
well.
Strowman, that would be great.
Yeah, no. Braun Strowman worked with Brock. He's worked with the other big guys. He would be able,
Yeah,
and that's kind of the thing now. It's like any of the guys we see that we would consider big guys now are they're short in stature. So when you pair them up with Oba, you're kind of looking like
right.
they can handle the power, but in the end, they don't have that athleticism that the guy a foot and a half taller than them has, and that's a problem there.
Oba's only what, 6'4", 6'5"?
I'll look that up because him and Brock were
Brock's
like
only like 6'5".
I was that's what I was saying. They were kind of like eye to eye with each other.
Yeah.
Six
Well, we don't have
six.
a lot of okay. We don't have a lot of like 5 foot guys running around. But yeah,
Wow. Oh wow. Okay. Brock Lesnar's only 6'3". So
okay.
Oba actually has a little bit of height on him. I think
So
next week on, yeah, he's bringing up something from SmackDown where Paula
yeah.
and Solo attack Jacob and Royce Keys after a little bit of a thing. So I could see them having a tag team match next week.
So to put it into perspective, Obafemi is around the same height as Billboard Bill Gold.
There it is. We need Billboard Billy Gold to answer the Oba Femi Open Challenge.
Oh my God. Yeah, Billy,
Hold on,
start hitting
hold
the
on,
gym now.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Imagine the pop, all right, if he could use Cotton Eye Joe in WWE and Billy comes out to Cotton Eye Joe, man. Oh my God.
To anyone who doesn't know who Billboard Billy
Well,
Gold
I'm about to
is,
say, just real quick, I will play the opening he did for us. But if you're not familiar with Billboard Billy Gold or Big Billy Gold, depending on where he's wrestling, please go look on our Instagram page. Just go look him up. He is absolutely amazing. But I have to play
just
the intro now.
this past Friday, he literally seated a wrestler in my lap to chop him. Uh,
Hey Pete, watch this.
It's my Y Heavyweight Champion, Big Billy Gold. You're watching BJ and DG talk wrestling, and that's gold. That's Billboard Billy Gold, and this is gold. This is Billboard BJ and DG talks gold.
you don't
Absolutely
get to
love
see
Billy.
just the sheer size, but at least you experience the intensity of this guy through that. Yeah, man. I, Billy, maybe after maybe a couple months in the gym, like Billy's got the size, man, but Oba's just jacked.
Look, man. One championship drop and a black hole slam later. All right.
He's
And that,
missing a perfect opportunity to not call it the Billboard Slam.
hey, man, I just work here, man. Would you like fries with your burger?
Oh, don't make me hungry.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that can happen with this open challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. Like, you have guys in NXT you could just throw at him that won't hurt them any because then it's just like, oh, they went up against a main roster guy who has more experience. And let's just remember, like, I know I'm dead set on the Brock Lesnar comparison, but when you look at it, Brock Lesnar wasn't in the business all that long by the time he debuted. He ran
Right.
through OVW, and look, and Oba's 3.5 years in. And look at what he's accomplished already just in NXT alone. Two-time NXT champion, North American champion. He has dominated two different versions of that roster.
Right.
So it's a matter of time before he gets there. Me as a fan, I hope it's sooner than later because I would love the shocking. It would be a shocker and it would be a whole thing, especially with Roman being champ right now.
Oh, sorry.
Dude, do you want to have back surgery again? This guy just calling out the SPO champion, like,
Everybody goes into business for themselves on our
seriously. Declan Grant, I'm coming for you, brother. Not really, man. I don't want a plastic bag over my head and get pile driven. I know my place. I just don't like being bullied. Somebody else I could see stepping up into that open challenge, LA Knight. I could see him challenging Oba.
I thought about that, and a loss wouldn't really hurt him any more than like it wouldn't really hurt him just because they don't write him in a position
Hell,
to
win's
succeed.
not hell. Yeah, and it's a damn shame. It really is. You and me both are fans of him, and we get the time period of, excuse me, when he was in TNA, which it wasn't TNA at that time, but
So I mean,
when he was
yeah,
over there in Impact, and he got over. Let's not get it wrong. He was over. He does all the right things, and all the comparisons people want to make to like Austin or The Rock and the way he does stuff. Well, you know who, well, you know what? Then he's emulating the right people. He's doing the right things. It's a matter of the booking's not there. And then what we're seeing with him is just absolutely ridiculous. You give him a moment and then just take it right back away from him. Like
And
he
what I
picks
don't
up the
get
way.
is
Go
like the
ahead.
love-hate relationship with the Usos he has going on right now. Like he teams with
I
them, and then the next night he's like trying to incite them.
well, it's very interesting that whole thing because I noticed something this week on SmackDown with the Usos when they were coming out to confront Solo and Tala was that the way Jay looked. This is isn't necessarily the bloodline Jay Uso, but it's close to it. It's a more serious Jay Uso. Which, if this is the Jay Uso we're going to get coming out of this, I want to see this Jay Uso back in a title picture. Just from what I'm seeing right now, a
Yeah, the
more
Speed
serious.
Championship.
That means he'd have to go to NXT.
Oh man.
Hey MJF, you want to handle that one for me? Thank you. Now, what's going on here in the chat? Yeah,
I mean,
he really does right now. Like his seriousness is like he's more about business now than he was before and just catering to the fans. Even though he did drop a single yeet on SmackDown during that promo segment. And it popped the crowd. Had the crowd starting to do it, but even the crowd now's noticing it.
I've been saying for a long time, keep the Usos together, turn them heel, have them just dominate the tag team division.
Like I would love to even see them staying as like I think it's something that's missing is that when we have a team of two guys, why can't a tag team still pursue singles gold? Like they could go pursue singles gold. And I'm not talking about something a la the two-man power trip with Austin and Triple H. That were two singles guys. Triple H was the Intercontinental Champion. Austin was the WWEF. Was it still? No, WWF Champion at the time was still the WWF. And they also won the tag team titles. Jay Uso, since the whole bloodline revival or the family thing, whatever they're calling it now, they have not. Well, they did come through the crowd, but they haven't been as much. That I think it's being phased out because when they came out, they've been coming out the entranceway more. Maybe for matches they'll come through the crowd, but eventually that's going to stop with a heel turn, and they just have to get them there. So it's that slow phasing of it,
I
programming
could
the
see
crowd
them.
to not respond to it now.
I could see them if they. Uh, no, I could see them still coming out through the crowd, but just being very stoic and like not like interacting with the fans, but still coming out through the crowd.
Well, what I would like to see is maybe something to where Jimmy's the one trying to get Jay into that fun vibe.
Right,
And,
right, and
and,
Jay's
and,
just
and Jay's
serious.
just staying serious now. He's like, look, we've been through this. What happened when nobody listened to me? We brought Sammy in. Sammy, and not that Sammy was the cause of the end of the bloodline, but he was the one that brought reality to it, like Roman's wrong. And you guys are blindly following it. He's wrong in this case. But again, it's something to where that has to be phased out because it created moments with the fans, especially the kids. Because still, you see that Triple H is still trying to create that generational fan, which is something he should be doing. But now, what do you replace that with? Because crowd coming through the crowd entrances don't last forever. It didn't last forever with Edge and Christian. It
Didn't
didn't
last long
last.
with CM Punk.
It didn't last long with the Shield.
Actually, no, Punk was always exiting through the crowd.
And I mean, even to a point, you look on NXT, Dark State's not coming out through the crowd now.
Moxley still does
Well, that's AEW. We're
it.
we're not talking about the guys that have to have an hour and 35 minutes of wrestling on their show, all right, with limited ads, okay? What are they thinking over there? Don't they want to make money?
Right?
Freaking marks.
Ugh.
But another thing I enjoyed from Raw this week, the Joe Hendry concert with getting the crowd chanting the fire Logan Paul. I love that that's the first, and I'll say again, I love that's the first person he took a shot at, because I don't think that tag team run is going to last long with those titles. I think the Vision's going to reshuffle and focus back on Seth Rollins, as they should at this point. Without Bronson Reed, all hands need to be on deck for that. And that can
Yeah.
play into them losing those titles. And then now you have somebody like Joe Hendry, who's going to be able to be on that babyface side with Seth and trying to do something about the Vision and what they're doing. And it also creates two people in a feud as a face and heel that can easily go viral doing something. You know, and TKO, that's what they want. And in this case, that's the right call.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Eddie.
I'm sorry you guys don't like fun in your pro wrestling. You guys must have really hated Hornswoggle back in the day.
Didn't mind Hornswoggle. He was actually funny.
The best Hornswoggle skit I will stand by to this day was with DX and Little People's Court.
I also, if you get a chance, look up Orange Cassidy versus Dylan Postal or Swoggle
Oh,
on the Indies. That
yes,
was a very
absolutely.
fun match. Orange Cassidy just perfecting his whole slacker gimmick and Swoggle being in full form. Yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah. Though I'll say this as a Joe Hendry fan, the one thing that I love more than anything is that he did his own theme song. That WWE, surprisingly enough, has not changed. He figured out how to get himself over. He's essentially self-made. The only other time before being in this character that he was on WWE TV was as Rusev's lawyer. And
Right.
he wasn't even supposed to be doing that. It was somebody else. He just happened to show up wearing a suit. And they're like, "You're going out." I What's wrong with me? Nothing. I like, as much as I love my pro wrestling, I also love the fun stuff in pro wrestling because it is a good change of pace. You know,
I like the fun stuff when it's fun.
for me, it's fun. But again, it's something that I will always say about being a fan of pro wrestling. Not 100% of everything is for everyone. You're allowed to not like something. You're allowed to like something. There is something there for everybody, which it should be a variety. Even AEW does their comedy stuff. It's just done differently. WWE's an entertainment company, not a pro wrestling company. And they've been like that for how long now?
25
It's
years.
entertainment. You know, I mean, where they focused on it more. Because if you go even back in the day, you look at somebody like George the Animal Steel. He was going out and biting turnbuckles. You
That's
know,
not comedy. That's just how he expressed himself.
you had the Bushwhackers, who WWE turned into a comedy gimmick.
Again, not comedy, just how they express themselves.
No. WWE legitly turned them into a comedy gimmick.
Yeah, yeah, they
Because if you
were
watch them,
killers on the New Zealand
yes,
scene. Yeah,
yes.
they were terrifying.
Yeah, and then they got turned into something else completely different. To where then you fast forward a little bit, we had Doink the Clown. We had Jerry the King Lawler, who by the point he was in WWE, he wasn't taken serious. You know, he was
Doink
stuck into little
was
stupid comedy things.
Doink was like a psychological horror wrapped up in a comedy gimmick.
Okay, no, I can see that. But then you even go forward, you know, as you go through the years, you see some of the guys that can really go that got turned into something that should have never happened. And I do not like all comedy gimmicks. Do not get me wrong. And even to a point, the first time I saw Joe Hendry and I started seeing this version of the character was when he was teaming Joya, when he was doing that tag team. That was when I started watching TNA again, or Impact at that time. I started watching
Okay.
that again, and and it was for a short time, and at that point I did not like Joe Hendry, and then I went and did a little bit of research and I saw what he did, and I'm like, I could kind of get behind this character. I just didn't like him as that tag team.
I liked his heel work. I became aware of him when before he came to Impact, when he was working in England and Scotland. He was in I think it was WXPW or something like
Oh,
that,
I know
and
what you're
and he was a
talking about.
heel, and he was a heel. He had dark hair. He was a heel, and I liked
Yes.
his character then because he wasn't too over the top and gimmicky. Um, but then yeah, like once he like kind of built himself up, I just wasn't,
No, no,
you
no.
know.
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I won't say that it's not gimmicky, but
Eddie.
you. But in the end, number one, let's be honest. There have been worse gimmicks than
Oh,
Joe
Eugene.
Hendry.
Eugene. Worst gimmick of all time, maybe.
No, nah, nah. That's not even the work. Because I love to work with him and William Regal because it was just two polar opposites that somehow worked together. And William Regal couldn't do anything though. You you could give him anything to work with and he'll make it work. And I just love that all the time. I see the video online with the crime time and they're doing the money, yeah, dance around him. And then they put the fitted hat on him and he just starts doing it. Next thing he turns around is Ron Simmons is sitting there. And we all know the good Ron Simmons catchword.
I guess, people overlook how offensive that angle was more than I do. Or not that angle, but
You
that
know, I
gimmick.
don't it what crime time?
No,
The
no, Eugene.
no. I see where I see where that could come from, but it's not the most egregious thing that I've ever seen on WWE TV. And
Oh,
I
God, no.
one
Katie
day,
Vick.
we'll plan out a video, and we can do our own rankings of like the top 5 worst things we've ever seen. And I think you'll know what my number one is because it was completely horrible and out of line. And all I'm going to say is it involved Triple H.
Yeah, well, I did just say Katie Vick a minute ago. Uh,
Oh, I didn't hear
yeah,
you say that.
yeah, another, like, really terrible one was Mickey James and Trish Stratus. That whole, not just the match and the gesture, but that whole
No, no, no.
thing.
No. If I'm going to pick something from Mickey James, it was when they were doing the Lay Cool storyline and they did the Piggy James thing. That was just completely disrespectful and out of line.
But there's plenty that we can go through. I'm actually excited about potentially coming up with this list. But yeah, no.
But no, again, like I said,
Okay,
when it
so
comes to
so
pro
so
wrestling,
hold on. So DG, what comedy gimmicks do you not find funny through the history of WWE?
oh, that was just completely. I'd have to really go back and look and refresh my memory on a lot of that stuff because my brain just the Rolodex of pro wrestling. Because did I think of some guys that were serious that turned into it? One I would kind of say would almost be Gold Dust.
Yeah, he was a little he to go a little too far uh for not enough results.
Um,
I think in a lot of what he
something
did.
something else I like. I so one thing I loved as a kid was Val Venus. I loved the gimmick as
Oh
a
God, yeah.
teenager, the porn star type gimmick. I always felt like it was them trying to recreate the HBK gimmick in a different way, and it just never worked that way. And then eventually they kind of turned him the same thing, like Steve Blackman. Absolutely love Steve Blackman. And then they did the whole head cheese thing with
Right.
Al Snow.
They
You
like
know,
unlegitimized him as a tough guy.
yeah. It just comes down to a lot of the guys were serious and then weren't. But let's shift gears at the moment because this is something on our rundown from today. The whole Gunther Cody Rhodes thing, which I'd like to start talking to him. That Ricky Starks match with Cody, absolutely loved the match. I like that Gunther is next in line and taking advantage of an injured Cody Rhodes. All things considered, that you're not going to throw him at Roman and have Roman beat him at the moment because that's one where the Usos would have to interfere, and I feel like that has to be established first with Jacob. because I have a feeling they're going to interfere in that match at Backlash.
Well, they didn't against Punk. Uh,
Well, that was
and
WrestleMania, and like we talked about after WrestleMania and the post and our Raw post show, our after show, that it would have been too soon for that to happen because then we're all going to get a sour taste in our mouth, like, oh, we're right back where we started 2 years ago. We're not working our way back there, And right now they're being presented as equals in this situation.
yeah, but even so, just the association just is too much at this point.
It, like I said, I'm gonna wait and see how this goes because reunion things are always a thing that happens. We saw it with Shield, we saw it with DX a couple times, we saw it with Evolution, which eventually led to the Seth Rollins turn on the Shield. Which, but I like I said, I liked the idea of Cody and Gunther because we've only seen the match once before. That was King of the Ring in
Oh,
the
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or whatever one the Crown Jewel events was with a tournament. So, and I want to say they were both champion at the time. Something like that happened. The Crown Jewel Championship, that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So, just having that there, I'm all for it. Gunther and looked good with that, him choking Cody out. Cody hasn't had an opponent like this since Roman, to be perfectly honest. Not that Drew isn't there, but if you were to put Drew and Gunther in the ring and you're telling me to pick who's winning, I'm picking Gunther.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm all for the story. I just hope that it gets more of a build, considering we're 6 days away from Backlash at this point.
Oh, that's this weekend. Okay.
Yeah. And we only have 4 matches announced.
Yeah, one more match announcement, and that'll be the show.
Probably. But
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it goes. If it was me, I would really think about taking the title off Cody. I
Yeah,
really would. Excuse me for one moment.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, it feels like that's a lot of hot-shotting with that belt lately. Like, how many times would that have changed hands, if that were to happen this year? Like three, four, and we're not even halfway through the year. I don't know. But then again, who knows? Yeah, I don't know if more matches, maybe just another match. I mean, they've been keeping the PLEs like to about 5 matches lately. Uh, which is super disappointing. I'm used to a good 7, 8 matches every show, but the storytelling just isn't there for them to get that now. I mean, maybe they can get another 2, 3 matches, but yeah, I have a feeling it'll just be another one. What's been announced? Let's take a look at that because I haven't uh backlash. All right, we got Reigns fought 2, World Heavyweight Championship. Right, right, right. Trick versus Sammy for the U.S. Championship. Uh, oh no, there are 5. Uh, Rollins versus Breaker, Asuka versus Sky, and Danhausen and Mystery Partner versus Miz and Kit. There already are 5 matches. I wouldn't be surprised if they just rolled with that.
I agree. I'm
Let's,
back and I agree. I heard the rundown. Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe we get a Nova Open challenge.
Does the but does the open chat? I would wait until the next PLE after Backlash for it to spill over into that.
Fair enough.
You know, if that would be
Well,
the case.
that would just open it up to have like a cross brand match without like having to just randomly have someone from another brand on Raw.
But like, just for me, like in the case of that, if it is, it's more the pop than anything, or you just have somebody like I could see somebody like Kit Wilson crossing over to challenge over in the open challenge, you know. So it becomes more of a promo segment and then the squash
Right, right.
with a disappointing Miz
Well,
at
that's all.
rings,
Yeah,
with Miz egging him on to go do it.
that's all it would have to be, you know. But also, that article that I was reading said they might be building to a Rhea versus JC match
I don't think
after
that ha
Backlash.
I really hate that they're putting JC in that position so quick. I would have rather seen her
Yeah,
built up a little, but she's
or
I will say this. She's had 2 matches. She looked absolutely great against Rhea, and she picked up the win over Charlotte this week.
I mean, but put her in the U.S. Championship division, you know, like
I
don't
feel
have
like
her
that
immediately.
I feel like the women's US title division right now is kind of built up to a good point right now. Like you have plenty of people there that can challenge for that title to where we need to move some of them up. I would love to see Julia move up,
Yeah,
in all
yeah.
honesty.
Now that she lost her belt, yeah.
But I'm also afraid that she could be on the future chopping block at some point because they haven't booked her properly. Like she was great in
Yeah,
NXT and then
but I think the roster's safe for now. You never know, but what, 27 people in the last 2 weeks? I think the roster's safe for
I hope so. I really truly do, but we never know.
now. Yeah, well, that's not what wins you championships, Eddie.
It did back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Agreed, but not now. Not since Stephanie McMahon invented women's wrestling.
I thought she invented VPNs.
That too, but that was much later.
um let's see. But there was some good stuff on Raw this week, you know. We've
Also,
kind of just gone freeform this week talking about whatever more than our rundown. The other thing on our list and then back to it, NXT this week with a lot of the Evolve call ups and debuts.
yeah.
Um, let's see, we had Cam Hendricks who was from LFG season 1 finally make his debut. Tristan Angels from Evolve made his debut right before that. We had Evil make his debut during the Tony D'Angelo segment, which was
Not
linked to
named.
which not named, but I'm just going by how we know him at the moment. Which makes it seem like they had it planned last week with the box being given to Tony D'Angelo, which had that same symbol on the shirt that he gave him. And then after that, Tavian Heights destroys Tony D'Angelo with a sneak attack just for what they're billing as a fan and this guy's a big guy hitting a moonsault on Tony D'Angelo while he's down, but it's actually wrestler Will Cross, which I'm
I wasn't familiar.
very vaguely familiar with, but he's a big guy that can move. So I'm interested to see what they do with him. Let's see. We had Sean Legacy return this week as well. So there's a Lizzie Rain made her debut.
Eddie, I don't think you have my new number.
So
He
some
says
random
he's
person could be getting Cody Rhodes heel video sent to him. Like, who is this guy? What?
Yeah, I have a new number, Eddie. I'll message you from it later.
Oh, I thought we would just put it in the chat here so everybody can hit you up.
No, let's not do that. I have enough salesmen to deal with.
But the real standout thing was the Evil debut. They really went out. They made a mention to his name, but not. They went out of their way to not give him a name. Um, I absolutely loved the way they did it. His theme song, as soon as you hear it, you knew it was him without even looking. I just knew. And I love that when something like that happens, I can hear a theme song I haven't heard, and I just, with that anticipation, knowing somebody's going to be debuting, and you just hear the song, or you see somebody jump companies with a song similar, or something, or you just hear a new version of it. You're like Champa when he debuted in AEW. As soon as I heard that music, I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
Um, yeah, yeah. Which I'm not thrilled with what they've done with him lately, but
With who?
Champa.
Well, it looks like he's going to be teaming with FTR. It looks like they have a little thing that could be happening. So,
That
unless that
makes
was just a
sense.
one-off for this week, but I'm
But just
kind
the
of
hot shot,
for that.
just the hot shot the belt on and off of him was really weird.
Yeah, we all know I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah,
But yeah, out of everything, I was probably outside of Evil when it comes to in-ring, Lizzie Rain. If you're not familiar, go back and watch some of her indie stuff. She's really good. Uh, I was I love the gimmick that they're using with her right now. That old 80s hairband type thing, given who her uncle is.
well, I don't think it's really a gimmick. I feel like
So
that's just
it'll
her.
be I mean, that's fair too, but when it comes to WWE, I mean, it is probably her, but also turned up because WWE figure out how
Right. Yeah, of course.
her uncle is the former drummer of Iron Maiden, Clive Burr. So that jacket she wears to the ring is actually his, which is really cool that she can do that. It's almost would be like Natty wearing her father's jacket to the ring all the time from the Hart Foundation days.
Right.
I've always been a fan of Leo Rush.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
he's a
Disappointed he
manager
stole
or yeah.
Champa's name, but he's work and Shotzi's for that matter. But regardless, I'm liking
Gimmick infringement.
it. Just a name.
But NXT's restocking that roster after the call ups. I'm all for it. It's looking good. We have Mr. Iguana return this week with Lola Vice as well, being involved in her storyline with
That's
Izzy
right. They're
Dame
the
at the
mixed
moment
tag team championship.
in
They're the
AAA.
mixed tag
Yeah,
team champions. Yeah.
and even with NXT at the moment, it looks like we could be seeing a tease of a Dark State breakup coming sometime in the future. Seems like they're finally butting heads. And most of it's Dion Lennox's fault. So if it's not a breakup, he's going to get kicked out the group. And speaking of stuff like that, shift to AEW real quick. On Dynamite this week, Will Ospreay training with the Death Riders,
Well, that goes back to Collision last week. They
where they
kind of
carried him.
set it up.
Yeah, they kind of kidnapped him and whatnot.
For those of you who don't watch Collision like myself, you're like, wait, what's happening? And then you find out, oh, they set this up on Collision. That's why I should watch Collision.
Hey man, time. I only have time to watch the flagship show for them.
There's more wrestling than time. We do what we can.
Something else, I haven't had a real chance to watch TNA lately, but this week Broken Matt Hardy returned,
I
which
didn't know he'd gone anywhere.
hey, Captain Heel in the
Hey,
chat.
Captain
How
Halo.
you doing, brother? Dynamite was actually really good this week. I liked the Kevin Knight and MJF TNT title match that kicked off the show.
Right, right.
We also had a set up. So the week before Adam Copeland challenged FTR to another match.
Stop it, Eddie. I'll delete
I,
you.
dude, seriously. I thought you were bad without liking stuff that's entertaining and fun. Eddie, I see where you get it from now. I now understand where that influence came from.
Delete. Delete. Yeah,
Number
he just
one,
must not have seen those TNA, like the birth of it in TNA.
yeah, and then the whole just Broken Hardy's gimmick in general is
Broken Hardy's
absolute.
universe.
Yeah, absolutely great. Absolutely great.
But I've
Um,
been 100% all about the Hardys since like 1997. So, and
yeah.
they can do no wrong in my eyes, except Jeff and that match against Sting that one time. But let's not talk about that.
Oh, I have a story about that match. I was visiting friends in Scranton, and and the match is getting ready to start. I'm watching it on my laptop, and I go to the bathroom real quick. I come back, and the pay per view was over, and the bell hadn't even rung yet when I got up. I was like, "Hey, this is a good chance to go take a quick piss." Oh, wait, what? The show's over. What happened?
The Broken Hardys are way better than the original Hardys.
Oh, are we really about to have the discussion of Brood Hardys or Broken Hardys?
Oh God, broken all the way.
Oh,
Rude
well,
Hardys
that's
were
it.
just like drones.
I mean, I get it. I get it, but
Personality wise, but gimmick wise.
nah, I like the Broken Universe. I love what that of being able to reshape their characters like that.
I'm just a fan of the dilapidated boat.
Like, and they made it crossover into three or more separate brands over the last
Yeah.
what 10 years? Because what?
Yeah, since it originated probably about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, like I something I agree with you here. Eddie's not happy with you at the moment. But back to what I was saying. So Adam Copeland / Edge, however you know him, they challenges FTR to a New York City street fight for the tag team titles. Where if him and Christian lose this time, they retire together as a team. Well now I'm very interested because the ante got upped. FTR not only accepted the challenge, but now also this match is now I Quit street fight. Why are these two gimmicks being put together when an I Quit match is already no DQ, no count out? Basically the same thing. You just have to say I quit instead of getting pinned or tapping.
Would it be funny if it was also like not Tornado?
See, I like AEW. I really do. Please. It's not me hating on it. It's just me trying to understand why you're putting two gimmick match. Now, if you were to tell me, oh, we're going to do our own version of Hell in the Cell and make it an I Quit match. All right. Now
For
you have me.
TLC.
Now you can't do TLC I Quit.
Oh
Even
yeah,
though
yeah,
I
yeah.
even though I know WWE for a time did shift the rules pending on if the guys were comfortable doing the ladder match part of it or not, but a TLC match should be a ladder match.
Yeah.
It should
With
always be
other
climbing
stuff.
up. Yeah.
Which a TLC match is just a ladder match with other stuff laying around. Like there's
Yeah.
no
But
big difference. A ladder
yeah,
match could turn into a TLC match, but it would still be called a ladder
yeah. Back in the day, there was a distinct difference where we didn't see all that stuff set up in a ladder match. Maybe we see chairs used, but we really want to see tables set up for those spots, as we do now. Like in every ladder match, even though it was a normal ladder match, that stuff still gets set up. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. But I'm assuming at this point, Cope and Christian get one last run with the tag team titles. I don't see them necessarily being done, and maybe it goes to a point where, hey, whoever beats us for those titles gets the distinction of retiring us. Because it doesn't seem like they're going to be around much longer. I would say this time next year, I kind of expect him to be retired. And then also from Dynamite, Darby Allin versus Brody King for the AEW Championship. Great match. Absolutely great match. Let's see, in the chat, do you feel Adam Copeland's being used right? I feel like he would still be in the main event scene, or he's just I feel
No,
like in this,
he's probably just taking a step back to get this run in.
I mean, I also feel like he got the singles run when he debuted there. He got the feud with Christian. They got to do what they wanted. Now it's
Right.
more of giving the fans one last run of the tag team, because that's what we've always wanted, was to see them team together one more time. It's just a shame that when we got the Dudleys and Hardys one more time, we didn't get them even just being there, because that's what we would really want, is to see that
All three
combination of
teams
teams.
from that epic TLC match. Yeah.
Yeah. I also agree with this. I wish we could have gotten Edge Cena one more time, but we understand why it
Eh.
didn't happen.
Eh.
Nah, they were one of the feuds that was great in the
I
beginning
wasn't.
of the
I
Cena
wasn't
run at that.
watching.
Like, that's before Cena had the rainbow shirts. We're talking
Right.
about,
Yeah. I
like, he was
wasn't.
still in that he had transitioned. Yeah.
I stopped watching in
Like, he had
2002 and
transitioned.
did not really continue watching regularly until 2007, 2008.
Yeah, by that time, he transitioned into rainbow shirt Cena. He had a new shirt every month.
Did he still have jorts?
Yes.
Okay. Thank God.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh no. 5 beers. Oh no. 6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers.
uh, yeah, they're super crushable, man. The Trogs Lager. It's get this, Eddie. You'll appreciate this. $21 on the shelf for a 12 pack of pints of this lager, and it's a very good lager by Trogs.
You're a logger.
I'm an ale. All right, that hurt my shoulder.
But
Oh,
I kind of hope Cope and Christian get one more run with tag team titles, and you can just go wherever from there. The
that's
team
what I
that
was.
beats them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say when I get back. That's a beautiful way to end their run.
I think that Christian could still go longer.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
And
another
it's a
year.
yeah, but it's also a damn shame that Christian didn't win the world title when he had that contract.
If this situation deserves it.
I mean, Sting and Darby won the tag team titles, and Sting
And
went
yeah,
out with a win.
Sting's
But
retirement match.
but
Right.
but to be honest, just responding to Captain Hill's comment, there is, I'm kind of on the side that when guys are going out, they should be looking at the lights. They should be putting over the next generation, and then at least for what would be the initial, and then something like, say that guy comes back for one more match for whatever reason, then maybe you give him the win, but let him put the talent over. Since he's not going to be there, what does that win do for him?
Right. The legacy's already set in stone. You're already making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and
Why
if you're
not?
at that level, then you should be putting the next person over. Like
That's a lot of what
Gunther's benefited a lot from that now.
wrestling about is like your ability to put other people over when the situation calls for it. And that's why wrestling never really reached the heights that it did until we got rid of the Hulk Hogan's and and people like that. Yeah, true. I agree with that, Captain Hill. That doesn't work for me, brother.
I mean, it also just depends on who it is and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, the situation, the storyline. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect. It would be like going back to WrestleMania, Flair and HBK. You know,
And
if it was.
having Flair win. Like it
It
wouldn't
would.
make sense.
Well, at that same time, also, you know, it wouldn't have hurt Shawn neither because they were both
No.
established talents. And, you know, Ric Flair eventually came back to wrestle anyway, you know? Like, maybe a wrestler like Mick
Yeah, like
Foley
a
in
year and a
his.
half later.
Like, maybe if you're talking about something like Mick Foley retiring, you know, giving him one last big win going out because it's Mick Foley and what he
But
did.
in that case, don't put him up against a younger guy trying to make his name. Put him up against someone who was a contemporary of his.
Yeah, like, now, it would be like, what if we got Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles? You know, if we now look at something a little bit different. You know, a guy coming out of retirement to have that one last match where it doesn't matter who wins or loses. You know, and I'm not talking about something from like WrestleMania 20 with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar at the time both leaving, and the fans hated it so much you had to make
Right.
Austin the referee.
Uh, like 100%, that's the situation where storyline dictates. But like you don't see that often. Retirement matches, you obviously see the guy going out against the younger guy who they're trying to build up. If it were the case that like, yeah, we're bringing Mick Foley back for a retirement match, I would hope it's against someone like, say, a Tommy Dreamer, someone who's like still out there who can
If
still
I'm going
go
to,
but doesn't have
I,
much left in him.
honestly, I kind of have a name for that. Even though it would never happen. What if Chris Parks came back as Abyss on WWE and they Abyss versus Mick Foley,
Okay, fatal four-way with Glenn Jacobs and Taker.
and it has to happen in a Fatal 4-Way Boiler Room match? Just complete chaos.
Unfortunately, Chris Park has lost way too much weight to ever convincingly play the Abyss character again. Not to mention that he's just
Not
super
he
banged up
reappeared
after
on
years of.
TNA TV a couple weeks ago, and with Mitchell, and they kind of had on
Really?
TV talking out their issues. Yeah, look it up.
I don't think I want to be involved.
It's been part of another. It was kind of part of another storyline where it kind of just crossed over for that moment. Does the Rocket and who should I if he's
Rock
getting one more
Roman
match?
in Saudi.
Yeah, it has to
No
be Rock
title.
Roman.
Retirement match. Loser
And
walks away.
I wouldn't even bill it as a retirement match, but it would be the Rock's last match. I wouldn't bill it
Fair
as
enough.
such.
It wouldn't need to be billed as such.
No, you know,
Rikishi can run out and run interference.
I would even yeah, bloodline rules. We're you know, like we go like that would be a match you kind of go all out for in that situation. And Roman goes over. It doesn't The Rock wouldn't need to win, neither would Roman. But just the idea of you could have established legacy there at that point and some one-offs just appearing for that show. That's one to where backstage segments become key, where you show the entire family's there. The Rock's mom's there, you know, all these Haku's there. All these
Right,
people are
right.
there.
Oh my God, yeah, got Haku there.
Like it would just make it something special. That's
We
all
we need
there
it.
is to it.
We need a Rikishi run in though.
Where he did it for The Rock, but it was really for Triple H.
No, no, this time he would do it for Roman, but it's really Triple H.
But it was really The Rock.
Right.
I did it for TKO.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that happening next Mania, next Adamania in Saudi.
Um, let's see here. Yeah, Royce Keys had a match this week, completely squashed Angel. There's another team I'm surprised is still around.
Oh yeah, Los Garzas.
yeah,
Los Lotharios.
whatever you want to call them. The Sami Zayn gingerbread thing this week, we kind of talked about it earlier. You
No,
know,
that's comedy I can get behind.
it's something to where they're doing such a slow burn with the Sammy heel turn that I feel like Backlash is just going to be full fledged because he's talking like a baby face, but his actions are heel.
Right.
And again, the whole gingerbread rest in pieces thing, the whole thing with the backstage interview, the doctor coming out, even Trick Williams throwing up the X in the ring
Uh-huh.
after chasing off Sammy.
That was a nice touch.
Um, the Usos versus Solo and Tala in the main event wasn't bad, but that was more built to have Jacob come out, destroy them, and kind of let the Usos just be in that moment because he sent them a message that go tell Roman I'm going to walk him like a dog at Backlash. I really see where you don't like fun in your wrestling, where you get it from.
I was fine with the Sammy Trick thing with Gingerbread
Like,
Man.
and it's played out. It's a story that's been playing since before WrestleMania. It's not like
When
it
it,
was a
when
completely
it,
random thing.
whenever we have a wrestler beating up an inanimate object, it's comedy gold.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know,
And I'll extend that to matches versus Invisible Man.
oh, but yo, Invisible Man's that dude.
It's undefeated.
I heard at WrestleCon, man, he had massive lines for people wanting to get photos with him. Hey, Eddie, I'm just going to ask you a question. Did you ever think it's purposely meant to be corny because it's meant to be fun and not taken serious?
Yeah, it's not for guys in their 40s and 50s. It's for kids.
Like, we us here are no longer the prime demographic of pro wrestling.
We aged out.
That's all I'm saying. And sometimes you just have to roll. It's like watching a TV show, and it's usually a serious show, but you get that weird comedy moment, where it has to break everything happening because you can't stay serious the entire time. Like, I think AEW could use it a bit more, but then it's just more in their matches, like Orange Cassidy. Like, I would actually wouldn't be surprised. Like, people in AEW or watch AEW love Orange Cassidy, but then Orange Cassidy goes to the WWE and it's the exact same shtick and everybody hates it.
Or they drastically change him and everybody hates it.
Oh, but the Rock doing that wasn't corny, Eddie. It was fun, but it doesn't make it any less corny. And that's the idea there. It's just meant to be there. It's meant to be something to make fans laugh and not be as serious, to release the tension of a big segment that happened or that could be coming up to happen. I get it. But again, like I've said plenty of times, not everybody's a fan of all that stuff. And that's fine. Like when it comes to Danhausen, it's the presentation, and WWE's gone out of their way to present him in the right way. He's basically the lost Munster in their eyes at the moment. They advertise him for Mockingbird Lane. He has a little car thing that's a coffin, and he's just going out there and having fun because he's not the greatest wrestler. But I'll be damned, they can get the fans, but he can get the fans behind him and pop them and be happy. Now that the Y6 have been released, I feel like WWE truly lets a Mystic. Oh, TKO wants nothing to do with any
They
gimmicks like
don't
that
want
anymore. That's
anything
why.
like that.
And I
Yeah.
think that's why the Wyatts were released.
Yeah, they're trying to get away from that whole dark and mysterious and supernatural thing. which, I mean, fine, but like you're kind of ruining some opportunities for good stories by doing that.
I mean, but also out of Bray Wyatt or the Wyatts, it hasn't really been done properly. You know,
That too. Like I feel like they just don't really know how to write for it.
like if there was somebody I would be putting in charge of something like that, it's the Undertaker. Like, hey man, we need your touch
Right?
on this.
And like
That
look at all the amazing things that like just a few years ago, all the amazing supernatural type stuff they did with Bray Wyatt and Undertaker and cinematic matches and like it can be done. Like I don't know, it's just a direction that they don't want to go in.
yeah, which uh, maybe, but having at least one character like that works because then that kind of explains the whole Aleister Black release as well with Zelina. Like that kind of
Right.
makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the dark gimmicks are something that brings mystique and they just can't present it the right way now. And that could be because we're in a different age of wrestling, Like we all knew the Undertaker really wasn't a dead man, even as kids, but it was kind of scary seeing somebody like that. Paul Bearer coming out with the urn, his voice and the way he cackled, cutting a promo. Like it sold into it. And then we fast forward to like the ministry days.
Right. It was me all along.
It
Oh no, that
and
was
then
different,
yeah,
wasn't it?
that was corporate ministry. Yeah, that was
Oh
corporate
yeah, yeah.
ministry. It was me. It was me all along, which was the Vince just putting himself right back into the storyline.
You thought it was gonna be Chris Daniels?
Which apparently he did an interview a while ago saying he was actually
Right. He was supposed to
not.
be the guy,
Yeah.
but Vince took one look at him and was like, "This guy's too small."
Um. But I hope one day something like that does come back, and it's because the whole thing is like Bray Wyatt understood how to speak, and I will always say this: why that gimmick worked so well, whether it was the Wyatt family, or the Fiend, or the whole mix between the Fiend and the
Max Cady.
Funhouse was the idea of when Bray spoke and cut a promo, it didn't feel like he was speaking to millions of people and thousands of people in an arena. He could speak and make it feel like he was talking to you directly.
His
And that's
promos are
something,
still absolutely chilling if you go back and rewatch them.
yeah, like he understood how to present that to make the person feel like they were individually being spoken to. And that's something special. I haven't seen anybody else really emulate that sense, to be perfectly honest.
No, not at all. And Bo has tried, but
Like the ability to be able to connect with the fans like that is absolutely amazing.
yeah.
One moment.
Yeah, I agree, Eddie. And it's a shame, but at the same time they were like, "Well, we don't have anything planned."
But and the
Yeah,
idea
I
is
agree. Archives in the chat. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like he did his thing. He wasn't Mike Rotunda's kid, you know? He was his own man. Like you would have had to dig deep to realize that, oh, this is a second generation, third generation wrestler.
I will always say the one thing is WWF did miss the target of putting the IRS and the Undertaker as a tag team, calling them Death and Taxes.
Yeah, well, you can do that in 2K.
It's not the same. But no, I do agree with that as well. Bray did do his own thing, and and I get it sometimes. Like you look at somebody like Charlotte, right? Like, it made sense. And even they tried to pull away from the Flair name for a bit, and they just went back to it because it just made sense. You know, sometimes you want that legacy for people, or if the fans know, we just know. Like, it's always surprising when we find out that, oh wow, that person's kid or nephew or something. And then you have the
Right.
obvious ones like that debut, like Braun Breaker, and you're like, he really looks like a Steiner. Oh, he is related to a Steiner. That makes sense now. Like when I first saw him and I said that, I thought he was Scott Steiner's son.
You would have thought, but no. Now it makes sense. You look at pictures of Rick in you know the late '90s, mid '90s, late '90s, and you're like, okay, no, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
I just saw it was a backstage segment with them, with both of them, probably about '96, '97, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, they look almost identical. Because it's not often you see them
Yeah.
without the head back then.
Ooh, excuse me. Otherwise, really would love for a dark gimmick to be done properly. Like a dark gimmick fits in a family product as well. It's how you present it. You know, the only
Yeah,
thing I would say is
exactly.
when you're coming to something like this, you wouldn't do Ministry Undertaker because that's a little too dark, and that only fit during the Attitude Era
Right, right.
of everything being a bit more over the top, a bit more cult, because that was more like cult than it was anything else.
Yeah, that was more a cult than like spooky dooky.
Like that was something that was the Wyatt family before there was ever a thought of that. You know, like you could turn around and kind of get the idea, especially with the Wyatt Six. Like if they had kind of gone that route with the people they had, that would have been interesting. And I always thought they were interesting. But we are to that time of the show now. I know we didn't really talk a lot of matches, but our match of the week.
Mm.
For me, I have a tie, and they're both from Dynamite. And they opened and closed the show. The TNT title match with Kevin Knight
Yeah,
retaining against
and
MJF and Darby
and
and
Brody,
Brody.
Brody and Darby. Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with right off. Like that was first thought. I was just trying to remember back and see if there was really anything on Raw that I was that impressed with, and nothing immediately popped into my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna go Brody Darby. That was everything I want out
I
of
mean, I would say from Raw,
wrestling.
Raquel and Roxanne upsetting Bailey and Lyra.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that doesn't quite get to
Becky
that
Lynch and
level
Io
for
was
me.
good too.
That was a good match.
But when we think of those shows, it's always more segments than anything.
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to wrestling, and that's why you'll notice like a lot of my match of the week picks come from AEW because that's where the wrestling happens.
Yeah, I just wish their pay-per-views were a bit shorter. That's all.
Yeah, they have their flaws, but right now it's hard trying to fight a monopoly, you know?
But yeah, we have Backlash coming up. We don't even have really a full card for that yet. A lot of things I expect from that is like I expect Roman to retain. I'm interested in who this Danhausen partner could be. Which I think at this point, Danhausen is the closest we're going to get to a dark gimmick. Like they'll do something like it and turn it into comedy or something a bit more family friendly. Which hey, if that puts
Yeah.
butts in seats, so be it.
And Danhausen is by no means dark, he's campy.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of it. That is the whole point of the gimmick is to be campy.
He's dark like maybe in appearance only if you only look at it for a second.
Yeah,
Like
and
Rhea
like
Ripley is like scarier than Danhausen.
yeah, there's definitely more intimidation there. But otherwise, we have this Tuesday we'll be interviewing JJ Smith on Indie Spotlight. Looking forward to that. We also have a special announcement as well for that show.
Yeah. Tuesday's going to be a fun show. JJ Smith recently just had a little bit of a heel turn that I can't wait to ask him about. Yeah, agreed. Agreed, Archives.
Oh,
Adam West Batman, villain Danhausen. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, people really good with AI. Make that happen. I want to see Batman get cursed by Danhausen.
What do you mean people really good with AI? Hey AI, make that happen. Let's
10
take people
minutes
out of
from
this
now, I'll
equation.
be scrolling through Facebook I'll come across like 4 different video episodes of it that are like 3 minutes long a piece.
Yeah. Yeah, good old AI slop.
But yeah, this week, like Backlash coming, we're going to get the go home shows for Raw and SmackDown. Roman and Jacob are both scheduled to appear for Raw. Gunther will be on SmackDown. So we could have Gunther Cody added to Backlash, I think.
Yeah, I mean they've been building that. At this point, it wouldn't surprise me, but they have their five. No, they have six. I don't see anything being added.
Neither do I,
But we'll
but
see.
I could kind of see it, especially if you were to do something like, say, like the Danhausen and Mystery Partner versus Mrs. Kit Wilson. This ends up being a short match. It's just out there as a middle thing, a cool off to get the crowd back down to normal before doing something that's just going to amp people up.
Right.
I could even see that being the match before the main event, in all honesty.
Like the cool down, yeah, definitely.
Um, I know we have Darby defending the title again this week on AEW. Darby's going to be a fighting champion, so I really don't see his title reign lasting all that long.
Uh,
Neither of them, I'll tell you that much.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, Oba would be hilarious, but we're not going
oh,
to see that.
yeah, like it's
It
you
honestly doesn't
know,
have to be anyone that impressive.
you know what, and it's going to make Eddie upset that I'm about to say this. It's going to be Joe Hendry. I mean, if you keep it a mystery going all the way through, both shows are going to be there. It'll be Hendryhausen.
Joe
I mean, it would be cool to see them together. I just don't see how it fits on TV. Yep, there it is, Eddie. Oh God, no. Well, it's going to put butts in seats, brother. Uh-oh, BJ disappeared. I wonder if that's what this means.
You are guest.
I mean, I'm Ginger. I was born cursed. Can't curse something that's already cursed, sir. Yeah, that sounds about right, Eddie. But yeah, I'm interested also with AEW to see where this whole Will Ospreay and Death Rider storyline's going as well. I've
The
also
tell
really
is when I
enjoyed.
mute my mic. When I mute my mic, that means I'm doing something that I don't want you to hear. So that's the tell right
I've also been really enjoying the Ricochet and Chris Jericho story over the last couple weeks, about last month now, since
there.
he
Yeah, yeah,
returned.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought they would return him and throw him into that position, but it's been good.
Yeah, the whole Okada and Takeshita thing, I can't wait to see that blow off at Double or Nothing. So that's going to be good. Also in other news, Andrade won the IWGP Global Championship over the weekend. So, brought some gold to the Callis family, which is pretty much wrestling's new NWO because everybody's in it.
Yeah, but I can't see them splitting off into separate factions.
The Callis
Callus
family,
Red,
Black and
Callus
White,
White.
and the Callis Pack. Hollywood Callis and the Callis
The
Pack.
dog pack. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. We need to see, I don't know what we need to see. There's so much going on with the Callis family, right?
Oh, let's see. Just real quick, I hope that Stephanie Vauquier has a quick recovery because it was announced she's going to be out for the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
dealing with an injury. So hope for a quick recovery to see her return.
Which predates the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, which is why her and Liv both being banged up, and now we talked about it on the after show that it seemed like they were writing her off for a bit with that attack. But yeah, we had some fun stuff this week. More stuff to come. Any
Mm. Yeah, you were frozen for a while there.
Yeah, you got anything else to say there, buddy?
No, man, yeah, just another week of wrestling. This week we're coming up on a PLE for WWE, so we'll see if we'll see what happens on Raw. We'll see what happens on SmackDown. Personally, I can't wait for Dynamite this week, but
I'm kind of thinking about going live for Backlash. We'll see.
what time is it?
Half past the monkey's ass, quarter to his balls.
I think I'm free to do that. No, there's no indie shows locally this week, right?
Just our
Oh, you
usual
froze again.
SPO.
Right, right.
Just our usual SPO.
Right, the week after is Mawa. Or no, Mawa's the 30th. Yeah,
7 o'clock the show starts.
yeah, cool. Let's do it. Maybe I'll get a little beer streaming in the afternoon, take a nap, and then yeah, I'm about it.
Yeah. We'll see how everything plays out. But yeah, 5 matches on that card. If you want to Roman Jacob, I think Roman retains. Eddie, I would say I would think you agree with that one. Roman retaining.
Yeah, I mean, my heart
Too
says
soon.
Jacob, but my head says Roman, definitely. Jacob's gonna get screwed by the Usos. I
Yeah.
agree, the Usos are gonna interfere in this one. Bloodline's back. Um, yeah,
Trick Williams, Sami Zayn for the men's United States title. Trick retains.
yeah.
The Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and mystery partner. We've talked about that. Oba Femi or Joe Hendry. I can't think of anything from. Oh, you know what? What about Royce Keys keeping it on SmackDown?
There was talk about like a Danhausen tag team match with a mystery partner for Mania that didn't come to fruition, and they were talking about Royce Keys being his partner in that. So yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Io Sky versus Asuka.
Right.
Where do you see this one going?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's tough without the Kyrie there. I mean, it definitely evens out the playing field. There's a small chance we could see a surprise Kyrie like appearance, not necessarily a return, but just,
Uh,
her in the crowd
I
or something. But regardless of that, yeah, no, I think Io pulls this one off. She
I'm
needs to come
actually
up.
going. I'm actually going with Asuka. have some fallout of not having Rhea in her corner.
Wow, that is an amazing analogy right there.
Yeah, I mean, but in this case, when the Empire changed to the First Order, their leaders were dead. And
Yeah.
it was something a bit different as compared to this group's coming back and now they're acknowledging themselves in a different way.
I guess Archives is all hyped up for tomorrow. May the 4th be with you.
I thought it was May the Schwartz be with you.
Well, maybe it will be.
You know, Spaceballs the live stream. And then the last match I want to talk about, Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker.
Yeah, this is one where it wouldn't anything that happens. Like I don't. My crystal ball is cloudy for this one. I don't know what they're going to go with. I don't know what's going to happen with this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Braun Breaker on this one.
No contest.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised of that neither.
Bronson Reed comes back. No. It may be a Theory and Paul play into the finish, but yeah, no contest.
I feel like this match needs a finish though.
Not yet. We can do this every week until SummerSlam.
I mean, we could. Otherwise, I mean, I'm looking forward to the card. I just hope it's not super ad heavy, but I know it will be.
Well,
I'd
if we're
rather.
live streaming, we can be more prepared for it, and like when the ads come on, that's when we have like prepared things to talk about.
Yeah. But if that's it, I think it's time for us to get off of here. So, everybody be good to each other. Try to do some good in the world. Have some fun and enjoy some corny stuff, Eddie. Maybe you'll laugh and have a good time, Enjoy the
You know what?
fun.
I don't think he smokes weed anymore, and that's probably why he doesn't enjoy the corny stuff. He's looking at everything way too seriously nowadays.
But yeah, we will be back Tuesday for Indie Spotlight, 6 o'clock. Where is not on this graphic, but JJ Smith will be our guest. As well, we have a special announcement, which we will be most likely kicking the show off with, since we weren't able to do it last week. And then, as always, we will be talking PWU this week, because it was first of the
PWU
month.
this week.
Was a really good show. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, scan this QR code. Go to the SPO Wrestling YouTube page and go watch it. It is there.
But if you're too lazy to do that, just go ahead and watch our show Tuesday and we'll tell you all about
Yeah. And then
it.
Sideshow Wrestling making a return
Yeah, this is going to be
June
dope.
14th. $5 tickets, just like last time, taking place at the Pro Wrestling Star Academy. A bunch of talents have already been announced. Go check out the Sideshow Pro Wrestling social media accounts. And I'll have a better list of a rundown coming up soon.
Ooh, that's right after my birthday, too. Nice.
But until next time, that's BJ over there. I'm DG the Danger Ginger, and we will see you next time. We are out of here.
Bye.
Everybody watching, I'm going to need you to visit www.freakkings.com. Check out all the merch. And before you do that, I'm going to need you to check out BJDG, YouTube and Instagram. And while you're doing that, you won't have to remember the name, because you'll remember the face.